Hi, my name is Kelli Ballard, and I am the owner founder of Business Resource Group. And I want to take a few minutes today and tell you a little bit about my story and how I got to where I am today, and a lot about why I got to where I am today. So many years ago, I was a single mom. I had 2 young children. And as many young single moms do, I was struggling. I was working a lot to take care of my kids and decided that I wanted to go back to school and do something that was going to allow me to have a career that would take care of my kids. So I enrolled in a program to study law and was thoroughly enjoying that program. It was interesting, it was fascinating, and I was really looking forward to completing that program and seeing where that was going to take me in a career. In the midst of that, I got into an accounting class, which was required, and I decided I fell in love with numbers. The accounting, the debits and credits made sense to me. Many of the students in the class were confused, just didn't understand the numbers, how the debits and credits whole thing worked, but it made sense to me. It just really made sense. I had a lot of clarity around it. And speaking of clarity, one day when our accounting instructor was out of class, we had a substitute. Our substitute teacher was the business law instructor, excuse me. And she didn't understand accounting. So she told the students that day, she says, I can't explain this to you, but just take my word for it. This is the way that it's supposed to be. And being the shy, quiet person that I am, I raised my hand and I said, I can explain it, which she didn't appreciate a whole lot. But I was able to share some of that with the other students in the class, and they started coming to me for tutoring and support and help with their accounting. When I completed the program, I got my resume all up to date and was ready to go out and look for a job. And I was approached by a business owner who had 2 companies, and she needed help. She was doing all of her books longhand in pencil and was really struggling. She never had accurate financial reports. She didn't know what she had, what she didn't have, and needed some help. She asked me if I could computerize her accounting system, and to be completely honest, it felt really overwhelming. I didn't know if I could do it. I had never done it, but I said, sure, why not? And I took it on, dove deep, right straight into the deep end, and I did it. I got an accounting system set up for both of her corporations. And I started talking about accounting to everybody that I knew that I came in contact with. And pretty soon, another friend of mine who had a company, they made salsa. They asked me if I would do the bookkeeping for their company. And I said, of course. So I started doing that for them and was really enjoying meeting with them, showing them, going through their financial statements with them each month, much like I had done with the woman who owned the 2 corporations. In that process, I got to see her empowered and enlightened by accurate information on a timely basis, and seeing her being able to use that information to make decisions about running her business. And that was fun. I really enjoyed that. And I think in that time, I got a lot of clarity around what my passion and what my why is. I found it fulfilling to give business owners accurate information about their business in a timely fashion, and to see how it empowered them to run their business. Many of the business owners felt like their business was running them more than them running their business. And that was disheartening to me. I was like, why are you feeling like you're on a wheel spinning around or on a treadmill, not getting anywhere when you're working so hard? And a lot of it was because they didn't know what was going on in their business. And I was able to take their accounting information and translate it into English and into information that they could use. And that was empowering to them. Business owners had ideas about what they were going to do when they were their own boss. And it wasn't spend Friday nights and Saturday afternoons poring over bank statements and credit card statements. It was, their dream was to have more freedom and more time with their families. And many of my clients were finding themselves stuck and trying to do everything, feeling like they were just a slave to the business. It was causing issues with their children, causing issues in their marriage. And I could tell you story after story. One of the questions I'm asked the most often is, am I the worst you've ever seen? And I always tell them I'll never tell. That's a secret I'm taking to my grave. I will never tell who is the worst. And there wasn't a worst, truthfully. They're all on a journey. They're all striving to be the best, to fulfill their dream. And I've been honored to support them in that process. So early on, I talked and shared my passion with these business owners and got several clients. I had clients ranging from auto detailers to attorneys, restaurants. And in those days, in that time, I had two businesses that had been owned by one individual. His partners came to me and said, we need help. We need help with the books. And so I went to work for them, getting that accounting system set up. And they were the typical, everything was in a box. And they brought boxes and boxes and boxes of bank statements and credit card statements and receipts to my office. And after working for all my other clients, I was then doing their books and trying to get them all caught up. It took me about 4 months to get them all up to date and completed. So I was pretty tired at that point. I was kind of exhausted and decided I was going to put everything on the table. I didn't want to continue doing what I was doing because now I felt my business was running me and not me running my business. So I put everything on the table. I started asking a lot of questions. And one of the questions that I asked was, how much is my house worth? And I found out that my house had gone up in value substantially. I was living in Northern California at the time, and there was a boom in property values. So I decided to look for some place outside of California that was less expensive to work, that I would be able to empower business owners, build my business, and have more time, more freedom, more time with my kids, more time with my family, more time to do things that I wanted to do. So we relocated to Southern Illinois in July of 2005. And when we closed escrow on the house here, I knew one person in the state, and that was my real estate agent. And I have never seen her since. So now I am in a new state. I know no one. I do not have a network. I do not have a support system. And I get to go start my business all over again. And that was kind of a scary time, but it was an interesting, challenging time, and there was a lot of opportunities. So the way I started, the way I got my clients when I restarted my business was identifying, recognizing who my client was, and going to where they were, which was a tool and a skill that I learned from a coach that I had worked with in California and continued to work with a little bit after I got here. Tony, shout out to Tony Ellinger with Bold Businesses. If anybody is ever fortunate enough to come across Tony and to get to have a good conversation with him, I still hear his encouragement and his words in my head would not be where I am today if I had not had the good fortune of working with Tony. So thank you, Tony. We'll always be so very grateful to you. So I started going to where I knew my clients were. They were in their business and buying things that I needed for my home and my business from them. And then I would share my card, tell them what I did, send them a handwritten note thanking them for the service in their business. And I got clients. I started developing my client list in Illinois and was busy working and supporting my clients and helping them do the things that they needed to do and that they wanted to do. And much like in California, I grew to the point where I had more than I could handle. And I was not able to do all the work that I had created and keep all the promises I'd made. So at that time I was married, and we're talking probably 2011, 2012. And my husband, Steve Battisti, joined me in the company full time. And he was very good at organizing. He took us to a new level of organization and systematizing things here that I didn't have. He had a whole beautiful set of skills that I didn't have. And I very much enjoyed leaning on him to shore up some of the weaknesses that I had. It allowed me more time to develop new client relationships and have continued to grow the business. In 2017, we started supporting and taking on e-commerce clients, and we now have clients from coast to coast. And Alaska. We have a couple clients in Alaska, New Jersey, Texas, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. So we have clients all over the country. And it's fun to get to talk with them and chat with them about the things that they're doing. So today we have 4 employees, 2 full-time and 2 part-time. And we are an effective team. I'm very grateful for my employees. They are fabulous. And they have allowed me to continue to talk about my passion. My passion is providing business owners with accurate, timely information that will support them in running their business. Translating that information into something that they can use to make decisions timely. Our clients get an accurate balance sheet and profit and loss every month. And so it's much more timely than waiting for the accountant to do their taxes and give them the annual, because they get it every month. So if there's an issue or a problem with their business, they can address it at the time and not be waiting for a year and just not have that accurate and timely information. So providing accurate and timely information is wonderful. I love doing that. My staff is great at that. However, it's only half of it. Being able to take that information and use it to make decisions today that are going to positively affect your business. As I learned from Tony, plan with the end in mind. And I do that today. I'm able to help my businesses say, okay, this is where you are today. This is where you want to be tomorrow. And how can we take this information and use it to build a plan that will get you to where you want to go? And that's empowering. And that's where they find the ability to use that information. And that is a real passion for me, to see them empowered and to see them be able to implement a plan to run their business and achieve their dreams. Business owners work hard. They show up day in, day out. Doesn't matter how they feel. They show up. They show up for their business, and they show up for their customers, and they show up for their vendors, and they show up for their employees, and they work hard, and they deserve to have that freedom and that empowerment to achieve their dreams. And I love being able to support business owners in a small way in achieving that dream and that uh, freedom. So that is fulfilling to me. And that is why I do what I do. And if we can support you in your business, if you do not have accurate, timely information about your business, your business has a lot it wants to say to you, a lot. And I can help, my team can help. So if we can support you, feel free to give us a call. We would love to talk with you. I would love to talk with you. Uh, so feel free to give us a call at any time. And thank you for listening, and thank you for allowing me to share my story with you today.